Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I am in my first semester of the nurse anesthetic school and I decided to start this channel to help students or anybody related to the field understand some very important concept when it comes to anesthesia. Please understand that I am just a student and this is just to help people understand. I am not a mistake proof. If you have any suggestion, please write down in the comment. Without further ado, we're gonna dive in this topic, ion trapping. This is a topic I learned during my first class of pharmacology when we were talking about pharmacokinetics. So what is pharmacokinetics? It's essentially what your body does with a drug. And to enable everybody to understand ion trapping, we have some basic information that we need to have a grasp on. And part of that is to understand that it's only the non-ionized part of a drug that actually gets absorbed. So we have two forms, ionized and non-ionized. Ionized just means charge. So when a drug is charged, either an acidic or a base, so this is the form that is ionized. That's what we call ionized. And ionized drug as charged drugs, they are very water soluble. Because they are water soluble, they are easily excreted by the kidneys, and they do not cross lipophilic membrane. They don't like fat, that's all. So, and sometimes we'll see in the book that the ionized also gets called polar or charged. So now the non-ionized drug, which is uncharged, it can be B or A, as long as it doesn't have a charge here. That's the non-ionized. Is the active part of the drug and is lipophilic. And because it's lipophilic, it gets absorbed easily with the membrane, so it goes into different compartments of the body, absorbed easily, and it's not excreted easily by the kidney because it's not hydrosoluble, it's liposoluble. So this is a concept that we really need to have a grasp on before we get into the ion trapping. And the next notion that we have to grasp is gonna be base and acid. Like most of the drug, as I understood, they come in the form of a base or acid. Now we need to remember from our pharmacology class or chemistry class, I don't even know, but base in an acidic environment, they tend to accept a proton and they become charged. But acid in a basic environment, they give away the proton and that's what we have. So this is base and this is acid. So the weak base in an acidic environment, they accept a proton, while the weak acid in an alkaline environment, they give away their proton, and this is reversible. These are reversible. So why am I talking about this? So the next concept is gonna bring to the pKa versus the pH. And according to my instructor, when we talked about pKa versus pH, the pKa referred to the drug, the pKa of the drug. Now the pH of the environment, the pH of the plasma, the pH of the urine, but the pKa related to the drug. I do not understand all the details about the pKa, but what I'm trying to head to is to my ion trapping concept. So let's talk about the pKa and base and acid. So if I have an environment that is acidic related to my drug, so acidic means my pH is lower. The lower my pH, the more acidic my environment is. So if I have an environment that is more acidic than my pKa related to my drug, what have we talked about here? That in an acidic environment, bases tend to get a proton, and what do? They become charged, they become ionized, and we have this. Excuse me. Or because it's gonna be the reverse with the acid. So in an acidic environment, when my pH is less than my pKa, my base is gonna be getting a proton, is gonna be protonated. That's how we call it. My base is gonna be protonated, and I'm gonna have an ionized form of my base. But in the same acidic environment, because pH low, acidic related to my drug, my acid drug is gonna be non-charged, non-polar. Now let's connect the dot. So in an acidic environment, my weak base drug is gonna be ionized, it's gonna be charged, it's gonna be more water soluble, it's gonna be easily excreted by the kidney. But my weak acid is gonna be non-charged, it's gonna be non-ionized, it's gonna be active in the form of an active drug, and it's gonna be easily absorbed in the membrane. So now when I have an environment that is more alkaline, so the environment refer to the pH and the pKa refer to my drug. So when I have my environment that is more alkaline, what I'm getting is my weak acid is gonna give away a proton, and it's gonna be charged. But my base, if we look back here, the reaction, my base is gonna be uncharged. So alkaline environment, my acid becomes charged. So it's ionized, it's water soluble, it's not that active, and it's easily excreted by the kidney. But what does my base do? My base is non-ionized, it's an active drug, is getting readily absorbed by other compartments in the body. So if we have this understanding, now we can jump into the ion trapping mechanism. Let me see if we can have a good view from here. Now, the ion trapping mechanism, we're gonna take two examples when it comes to a base versus when it comes to an acid. I'll start first with let's see, the acid. So let's talk about a PO med that get into the, so when we have ingested our medicine into per mouth, and it gets into the gastric mucosa, let's say this is an acid, right? So this is an acid right here, and this is gonna be our plasma or our blood, something like that. So I took a weak acid drug per mouth. When my weak acid drug gets into the plasma, into my gastric mucosa, my pH here into my gastric is lower than the pKa of my weak acid because I have a very acidic environment in my stomach. I don't want to go by number, but if I take an example, this is just an example. If I say here the pH in my gastric mucosa is going to be 3.1 and in the plasma 7.3. So here I have an acidic environment compared to my pKa. And what did we talk about here is that when I have an acidic environment, my acid get protonated. So my acid is in this form. And because it's protonated, because it's uncharged, because it's unionized, because it's the active drug that can actually cross the membrane and it's not easily excreted by the kidney, it is able to diffuse easily into my blood. That's just a picture of my blood. Now, when my protonated acid, my uncharged acid, get into my plasma, what do I have here? Here I have my pH, which is more alkaline than the gastric environment, is gonna be greater than the pKa of my drug. What when my acid comes? So here, if we remember the equation, in the alkaline environment, the acid gives away the proton and becomes charged. So my acid is gonna become charged. So now with my acid charge, which comes back here, is the ionized version of my acid, is the water soluble version of my acid. It does not cross the membrane easily. So it is gonna be hard for this acid to get back into the stomach. So I have my weak acid trapped into my plasma and it's gonna go into the different compartment of the body. But the point is that it is not gonna be easy returning into my stomach, and I have it trapped in here. So that is an example of weak acid ion trapping mechanism, if I can call it that way. So let's talk about the case of weak base. If we decide to trap a weak base, basically we have been taught about only one example: maternal alkalosis and fetal acidosis. So if here I have mom, so here I have mom, all this environment is gonna be mother, and I have the placenta right here, and I have the fetus right here. So by definition, the environment when the fetus lives is more acidic as compared to mom. So here is gonna be more acidic. Let's say 7.2 and mom is 7.4. Like I said, these are just example. The main point is to understand the concept. So, and the drug we are gonna give it is gonna be local anesthetic. Now, according to what I have been taught, most of the local anesthetic are weak base. So when the mom when she gets a weak base, a local anesthetic, so what would the base do in an alkaline environment? Mom is alkaline, the fetus is acidosis. My base is gonna be uncharged. And what did we learn? The uncharged part of the medicine is the non-ionized, is the one that crosses membrane, is the active side of the drug. Now, this local anesthetic, because it's uncharged, is gonna be able to diffuse inside the fetus. Now, once it gets here, now we have the base in an acidic environment. We come back to our equation. The base in an acidic environment tend to gain a proton and becomes charged. So our base here is going to be charged because the fetus is more acidic as compared to the mom, and the anesthetic product is a weak base. Now, when the drug is charged, now the charged version of our drug is ionized, is water soluble, easily excreted, don't cross the membrane. It's gonna get stuck in here because it can't go back. It cannot go back. So what is happening? The uncharged drug, because it's getting converted in the charged drug, is gonna keep getting more and more to reach its equilibrium. And the more the uncharged goes from the mom to the fetus, the more it's getting converted into the charged drug. So, and it gets stuck into the fetus. Now you might say, well, it's on charge, it's not really active, it's not gonna hurt the baby. But our professor also told us that the charged drug in local anesthetic can be also active. So this is one of the exceptions to the rule. With local anesthetic, the uncharged and the charged are both active. So if this compound is active and it keep getting accumulated inside the fetus, it might actually hurt the baby. And this is the concept I learned, and I hope I was able to help another student or anybody interested. And thank you for listening. If you learned something, please like or subscribe, and please drop a comment below. Thank you very much.